The Tale of Shadows Episode 1, The Pact of Greed in the State of Okuda.
Power wears a polished suit and whispers in smoke-filled rooms. The state of Okuta was one of great wealth and greater corruption. Its farmlands fed millions. Its oil wells dripped black gold, and its capital city shone with skyscrapers and neon lights. But beneath the glitter, the people whispered a truth. It is not the ballot box that rules Okuta, it is the kingmakers. These men were not elected, they were obeyed. They pulled strings behind curtains and planted governors like yams in fertile soil. Chief Balagan was the oldest, a heavy man with gold-rimmed glasses and a belly swollen with stolen riches. Senator Dangana, lean and tall, carried himself like a cobra, his words soft, his strike sudden. And Honorable Ez, the youngest, wore silk suits and spoke with a honeyed tongue that masked a heart of stone. Together they were feared. Together, they had installed Governor Rufus, a man once loyal to their pact. At first, Governor Rufus played the game. He signed inflated contracts, diverted funds, and smiled at the banquets thrown in his honor. But over time, the burden of truth began to weigh on him. He saw the broken schools in the villages. He saw hospitals with no medicine. He saw farmers weeping as their lands were seized. One morning, at a press conference, Governor Rufus shocked everyone. The wealth of Okuta belongs to its people, he declared boldly, cameras flashing. No longer shall this government be a puppet of hidden hands. I will not be bought. I will not be caged. The words were like thunder. The crowd roared in applause. But in the mansions of the kingmakers, glasses shattered in rage. That night, in Chief Balagan's mansion, the three politicians gathered. The air was thick with cigar smoke and anger. Balagan slammed his fist on the table. This boy dares to defy us. After all we did for him. Dangana hissed. He was a nobody before us. A lecturer begging for campaign funds. We made him. We can unmake him. Ez leaned forward, his voice soft but dangerous. We cannot wait for years. If we let him continue, he will expose us. Our companies, our hidden deals, everything. He must be removed. Balagan's eyes narrowed. But impeachment will take time, and the people adore him now. The three men exchanged dark glances. Ez broke it with a chilling smile. I know some men. Shadows that kill for gold. They are called the Jackals. A week later, in a deserted warehouse at the edge of the city, the kingmakers met the assassins. The leader, Moloch, stepped forward, tall, scar-faced, his eyes burning with cold fire. Behind him, 5 men stood silent, armed with fully loaded AK-47 and sniper's rifles. Balagan studied him nervously.
Can you do it?
Malik's lips curled into a thin smile. We've toppled generals. A governor is nothing. Dangana personal aide slid a briefcase across the table. Inside lay bundles of crisp foreign currency. Half now, half when the job is done. Moloch touched the money, then looked up. By the next full moon, your governor will draw his last breath. Whispers in the market. As the deal was struck, rumors rippled through Okuta. In the crowded markets, old women shook their heads. The politicians are restless. The air smells of blood. At the motor parks, drivers muttered, when lions fight for the throne, it is the grass that suffers. But no one dared speak openly. Everyone knew the kingmaker's reach was long. 2 weeks later, the plan was in motion. It was a Thursday evening when Governor Rufus left the State House to attend a community event. His convoy of black SUVs rolled through the city. On a rooftop nearby, Moloch and his jackals crouched, rifles ready. Target in sight, one whispered. Moloch raised his hand. On my mark. Suddenly, the street erupted in gunfire. Bullets shattered windscreens. Sparks flew as metal clashed with lead. Guards scrambled, shouting orders. Inside the armored SUV, Governor Rufus ducked low, shielded by reinforced glass. His aides screamed, "They're trying to kill you, sir." Outside, chaos reigned. Civilians fled, shops closed, sirens wailed. The jackals fought like wolves, but reinforcements arrived faster than they expected. The police had been tipped off by an anonymous informant. Moloch cursed, "Fall back." "I am low on bullets," I said, "fall back." "Reinforcement has arrived," I said, "fall back." But escape was impossible. One by one, his men were overpowered, beaten, and dragged into trucks by the gallant soldiers and police. By dawn, the jackals were in chains, paraded before cameras like captured beasts. In their cells, the jackals waited. Moloch reassured them, "Do not fear. Our masters will save us. We are their loyal dogs." But at the trial, their hopes shattered. The High Court of Okuta was overflowing. Citizens crammed into the gallery. Journalists scribbled furiously, and cameras flashed like lightning. At the front sat the three kingmakers, Chief Balagan, Senator Dangana, and Honorable Ez, all wearing colorful outfits, their faces painted with false dignity. "These men are traitors," Honorable Ez declared. "They tried to murder our governor. They must pay the ultimate price." On the other side stood the jackals, shackled, their once feared presence reduced to prisoners in black uniforms. Moloch, their leader, stood tall despite his chains. His scarred face betrayed no fear. The judge, Justice Orba, adjusted his glasses and cleared his throat. "These men stand accused of attempting to assassinate His Excellency, Governor Rufus. How do you plead?" Moloch raised his head. His voice ran across the hall. "We plead guilty. Not to murder, but to betrayal. We were sent by men who sit among you." Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Reporters leaned forward. Justice Orba struck his gavel sharply. "Silence. You will not spread falsehoods in this court." Balagan leaned back, smirking. "Let him bark. A chained dog cannot bite." The prosecution presented evidence, rifles, bullet casings, and intercepted calls. Witnesses, police officers, bystanders all testified how the jackals opened fire on the governor's convoy. When Moloch was called to speak, he laughed bitterly. "Your Honor, ask them," he pointed at the three politicians, "why they came to us in the night. Why they promised us gold to kill their own brother. We are killers, yes, but we were their hired knives." The courtroom erupted. Reporters shouted questions, the gallery buzzed. Justice Orba roared, "Enough. Without evidence, your words are dust." Dangana whispered to Balagan, "He knows too much." Balagan whispered back, "Don't worry. His voice will end at the firing squad." After weeks of hearings, the verdict came. Justice Orba, in his flowing robe, declared, "For the crime of attempted assassination and terrorism against the state of Okuta, you are hereby sentenced to death by firing squad." The courtroom fell silent. Then a wail arose from the wives and children of the condemned men. Mothers tore their wrappers in grief. Wives collapsed. Children cried out for fathers they would never see again. Moloch clenched his fists but did not tremble. He turned to his men. "Brothers, do not fear death. Fear betrayal. And betrayal has already taken us." The long night before death, the condemned were taken back to their cells. That night, the prison echoed with different sounds. One of the jackals prayed softly in Arabic. Another sang a broken folk song from his village. One wept like a child, whispering the names of his family. Moloch sat in silence, staring at the moon through the small barred window. His heart burned, not for his life, but for revenge. A guard approached, sneering. "Tomorrow you meet your god, killer." Moloch replied calmly, "Tell your masters. Shadows walk even after death." At dawn, trucks carried the jackals to the outskirts of the city, to a barren field known as Okuta Sands. It was here, in the colonial days, that rebels were executed. Now, history repeated itself. A crowd gathered, hungry for blood. Soldiers in camouflage lined the area, rifles ready. Reporters stood at a distance, cameras rolling. The jackals were tied to wooden stakes, blindfolded. Moloch refused the cloth. "I will face my death with open eyes," he declared. The commander barked, "Ready." The soldiers raised their rifles. Aim. The air grew thick. The crowd held its breath. Liar. Gunshots thundered across the field. Dust rose, birds scattered. The bodies slumped against the stakes. The crowd cheered. Justice, they thought, had been served. After the volley, a military doctor walked forward to confirm death. His name was Dr. Ibrahim, a soft-spoken man with a sharp mind. He pressed stethoscopes to the chests of the fallen. One by one, he nodded, "Dead, dead, dead." But when he reached Moloch, something flickered in his eyes, beneath the blood and stillness. Malick's heartbeat was faint, a ghostly rhythm struggling to survive. Dr. Ibrahim froze. He recognized the face. Moloch, he whispered under his breath. Memories surged. Moloch had once been his schoolmate years ago, before crime and politics twisted their paths apart. A soldier barked, "Doctor, report." Ibrahim swallowed hard. "Dead," he said quickly, masking the truth. That night, under the cover of darkness, Dr. Ibrahim bribed to guards and smuggled Malick's barely breathing body away in an ambulance. He treated his wounds in secret, nursing him back from the edge. Meanwhile, in the capital, the kingmakers congratulated each other. "The Dobbs are gone," Balagan laughed, raising a glass of wine. "The people hail us as heroes," Ez grinned. "No one suspects we were the masters of the plot." But far away, in Ibrahim's hidden clinic, Moloch opened his eyes. His voice was hoarse, but his words were sharp. "They betrayed us, and now they will pay." Dr. Ibrahim trembled. "Moloch, listen to me. Leave this path. You've escaped death once. Do not seek it again." But Malick's scarred face hardened. A man may forgive hunger. A man may forgive pain. But betrayal must be repaid with blood. Moloch whispered to himself, "Balagan, Dangana, Ez, one by one, I will find you. The firing squad killed my brothers, but I will be the firing squad for you." Moloch carried the weight of his dead men like stones in his chest. Each name, Dorda, Kemi, Opara, arrived in the silence between night and dawn. And each name asked one question: who would remember them? Who would answer for them? Dr. Ibrahim sat by a small lantern as Moloch spoke softly, one word at a time. The doctor's hands still shook. He told himself he had done the right thing, that a life was a life. Still, when Malick's voice hardened into promise, Ibrahim felt the chill of a storm. "You saved me," Moloch said once, staring into the doctor's eyes. "You have undone death itself for me. But blood and favor don't cancel each other out. They keep score." Ibrahim looked away. "Moloch, do not become what you despise. Maybe the world only understands what answers it with the same tongue." Moloch murmured, "Maybe only a lightning strike can stop thunder." News of Chief Balagan's death hit the airports like thunder the week after. Moloch walked again. Balagan, wrapped in silk and guarded by men in dark suits, had arrived from an overseas trip and moved through the VIP lounge confident, as a man who thought himself under heaven's shelter. In the restroom, complacence was his companion. He never imagined thirst for blood would come from a shadow. Moloch did not hunt Balagan with the fury of a common thug. He watched, waited, and chose. The exact instant when loud laughter and alcohol had softened the chief's guard. The world would call it audacity. Moloch called it repayment. The discovery was messy and sudden. A body, a startled hush, an airport turned into scandal. Balagan's death flashed across screens and morning papers. The Kingmaker's circle trembled. The governor's office felt a new unease. In dark rooms, men who had once raised toasts muttered prayers. There was an effect Moloch had not fully anticipated. With Balagan gone, one of the pillars of the old order crumbled, and gossip rushed to fill the gap. Men started to whisper about debts, about betrayals, and about the hand that took its own. If Balagan's end was sudden, Senator Dangana's was theatrical and bitterly symbolic. Dangana had always loved the pool at his country home. It was there he swam away the weight of decisions and sipped drinks while guards and sycophants circled like patient flies. Moloch dutifully watched from the trees for weeks, learning the rhythm of the household, the times the senator rose, the guards who dozed, the servant who always left the back gate unlocked for a cigarette. He watched until the night the moon slipped behind clouds. Some deaths are elegies, some are thunderclaps. Dangana's final hour was the hush of water, the muffled shock of a man who was supposed to be safe. Moloch did not gloat. There was only the grim work of leaving their message. Betrayal begets solitude. Men who warm themselves at the glow of another man's fire must beware the embers they leave behind. When Dangana disappeared, the capital split into camps. Those who said revenge was justified and those who shouted for a hunt to find the killer. Flags were lowered in Balagan's compounds, while Dangana's supporters prepared white-knuckled speeches promising law and order. Malik's name moved through the city like a rumor, sometimes spoken with praise, sometimes with fear. Honorable as was young but cunning, he moved as if the world were a game he had the rules for. He slept within a fortress of security guards, private cameras, and velvet curtains. To reach him, Moloch would have to become someone else entirely, a man permitted inside. This was the art of shadows, melting into the place you'd once blow apart. Moloch chose a disguise not of cruelty, but of necessity. He entered Ezra's world as a hired guard, a lowly man willing to stand in the background and hold a flashlight at parties. He learned the names of the staff, the times the generator coughed, the joke the gardener liked to tell the houseboys. He performed simple tasks with a ready smile and a humbleness that hid his intent. In the quiet of nights, Moloch walked the corridors while the house slept. He placed an ear to doors he could not yet open, learned the route to the study, and the hiding place where is kept his most private things. In time, suspicion fell away like dust. The night he chose, Moloch had Ez alone. The younger politician was tired and sloppy, a man who had eaten too much and believed his life, guarded by men who would never betray him. Malik's touch was precise and the shot was clean. There was no flourish, no scream that wore long on the air. It was over like a bad dream. As he stood in the study, Moloch opened drawers and pockets and found truth folded into paper. Audio recordings, photographs, minutes of meetings that should never have been in a politician's home. There, under the oil lamp, lay the proof of the kingmaker's treachery, the notes that traced the contract, the names of the men who had sent rifles and paid blood money. Moloch kept nothing for pride. He burned what might harm innocents and tucked the rest away into a leather folder he would carry like both trophy and confession. 3 down, maybe 3 to go, but vengeance is never a ledger that closes easily. Each killing moved Moloch closer to the light and further into shadow. His face grew harder, his laughter rarer. People began to paint him as an avenger, other as a monster. Down the road, the police began to whisper Malik's name at all checkpoints. The pattern was clear now, powerful men dying quietly, justice written in blood. A special unit tracked him down and found him at a bus terminal. Calm, the leather folder still clutched under his arm. Inside were the same documents that had condemned Ez and exposed the kingmakers. Moloch didn't resist. In court, he said only, sometimes justice wears the wrong uniform. The verdict was swift, life imprisonment, no parole. In prison, he spoke little, his eyes distant, as though watching a world far beyond the bars. Moloch became both legend and warning, the man who fought monsters until he was called one.